when an enigmatic phone video appeared online, including recordings and private communications that appeared to reveal a covert affair. Erica Mena's entire world was appended rumors that Yandy Smith Harris may have had a covert relationship with. Erica's ex-husband have surprised fans late at night as suspicions about Yandy's loyalties were starting to grow. The leak occurred all of a sudden. Everyone was discussing the erased messages, the covert late-night phone conversations, and the mysterious voicemails that suggested a relationship nobody had anticipated. Imagine the scene: Erica looking through her phone, her heart racing, her eyes expanding as she comprehends the significance of what she is witnessing. In the meantime, Yandy is silent on social media and nowhere to be seen as friends and co-stars tried to figure out what the controversy meant. The family was split. When videos of Yandy and Erica's ex appeared online, seeming to laugh together over what appeared to be private dinner, an image that went against what Yandy had publicly stated, emotions ran high. Every communication emoji and late-night discussion is now scrutinized. Everyone is wondering if there is evidence or if this is simply another false rumor. One thing is clear as the drama progresses: Erica Yandy and the unidentified person at the core of this catastrophic leak will never be the same. The majority of Atlanta's reality stars had already gone to bed when the leak first appeared. In the middle of the night, Erica Mena chose to look at her old phone because she was restless and couldn't get rid of a persistent, nagging sense. Everything, including a hidden gallery she had forgotten about, had been transferred onto her iPhone by a persistent update. She found a folder called Unknown while scrolling. The name seemed innocent, but it was actually a treasure trove of dynamite letters when she viewed screenshots of late-night texts between a contact named Jay and Yandy Smith Harris. She gasped. The chat started out innocently enough with friendly greetings and lighthearted banter, but it quickly turned into something Erica never would have imagined. Erica's fingers were shaking as she pressed on the first image, which showed the timestamp on 217 a.m. and the text from Yandy that said, "I can't stop thinking about you." A response said, "Meet me at the 12th Street Diner." Beneath it, Erica's heartbeat accelerated. She had trusted Yandy like a sister for years, and the idea of betrayal made her stomach turn. A blurry picture of Yandy and the enigmatic Jay smiling over coffee was displayed in the following screenshot. Erica recognized the location. It was the same booth where she used to go on date nights with her ex-husband, Denzel. Stokes, her heart pounded when she realized that Jay stood for Erica's ex-husband. Denzel every day might bring unexpected news, but Erica never thought she would find herself in the middle of such a scandal. She listened back, a shaky but distinct voicemail, Denzel's reassuring voice, murmuring, "You're so beautiful." Her laughter blending with whispered vows. Every communication was a betrayal of her confidence, and every picture brought back memories of a marriage and relationship she believed had been abandoned for better. Her vision was obscured by tears, but her anger was more intense. She was aware that she needed to reveal this, but how? Even though it was latent actions she made alone could come back to haunt her, she felt motivated by a sense of righteous rage when Erica showed up at the Love and Hip Hop Atlanta soundstage. The wee next morning, her typically vivacious enthusiasm had been replaced by a steely resolve. She climbed into her caravan, inhaled deeply, and then dialed a reliable producer. Her voice was low as she whispered, "I have something you need to see. We must remove the video." The producer's answer was a mix of enthusiasm and worry. "What is it? Is it serious?" Erica didn't think twice. "It's Yandy. Are you aware of the rumors? They are authentic. I have screenshots." Word had started to circulate among the crew by the time Erica's makeup was finished. "Have you seen Erica's face?" whispered Ann. "Something major is coming," reverberated across the corridor. On set, Yandy showed up looking stunning in designer jeans and a white blouse, her smile covering any evidence of the impending storm. Despite the tension that was building around her, she gave her co-stars a cordial greeting. Sitting across from her, Kirk Frost saw Erica's intensely flashing eyes. "Are you all right?" I inquired quietly. Yandy forced a smile as he nodded. "I'm doing fantastic." Awaiting my close-up, Kirk looked at her with a growing sense of discomfort. He had observed her agitated phone glances lately, a quietness that was out of character for her typically gregarious demeanor with a producer holding a tablet in hand. Erica strolled stealthily towards Yandy's dressing room after waiting for the cameras to run on the morning's first scene, which was a promotional segment promoting planned spin-offs. The first screenshot, which showed Yandy's late-night text asking Denzel to a covert rendezvous, was triggered by the producer tapping the screen. Yandy looked up, her face displaying a hint of bewilderment. "Erica, what's—" She was interrupted by Erica, whose voice rang with accusations. "What is this?" Sensing the tension, the crowd in the studio became silent while the crew gasped. The warm host, who wassailed close by, leaned forward. Intrigued Kirk got up suddenly. "Show me." The producer swiped to display a sequence of pictures, including every cryptic photo of Yandy and Denzel taken at daybreak and every late night text background. Paparazzi moments were blurred with captions implying secret meetings and snatched looks. Yandy's respiration accelerated, her hands shaking. She mumbled, This is a mistake." Kirk's face went white. "Yandy, what are you seeing?" he insisted. A hollow smile formed on Erica's lips. "Stop acting foolish. You sent these." Everything was visible on my phone as the cameras rolled and recorded each tormented response. She raised the iPad and said, "You believed I wouldn't know? Did you believe that I would allow my friend to take my marriage?" Yandy brushed away her tears, her words stuttering. I apologize, Erica. It was meant to be insignificant. I had no intention of hurting you." However, the tears didn't listen. The impact. Kirk felt a wave of betrayal as his gaze shifted between Erica and Yandy. How much time, for what duration has this been occurring? His emotions were intense and his voice cracked. Yandy took a deep breath. "It began last summer when Kirk and I began to have issues. Denzel was present to hear. He was a companion. Then something occurred. I had no intention of it being serious." Erica laughed bitterly. "A companion? You deceived my family and me." She pointed accusingly at Yandy. With her finger, "I assumed you were in love with Kirk. I believed that we were related." Yandy's cries became more intense. "I did adore Kirk. I still do. However, I felt alone. I needed someone." Denzel was present. She gave Kirk a quick look. "Please comprehend." Kirk flinched. "You get it. You used our children's future for your own selfish ends." Yandy, a professional anchor in the middle of pandemonium, the host stepped closer. "We're displaying this because fans are entitled to openness. Wooant to see how Denzel fits into this triangle as well as how Yandy and Kirk react." Erica created another voice note as the cameras zoomed in. Denzel's silky voice murmuring, "Come see me tonight." Hushed gasps echoed through the audience and staff as the recording played over the studio speakers. Yandy bit her lip. "It sounds more dire than it actually was. It's times we just talked and did nothing else. He made it easier for me to deal." Erica's eyes were blazing. Managing where? Hiding from Kirk, eating pancakes in diners, and meeting him at midnight. Why isn't that betrayal? A whispered word went around. The family was split up. "Did you see Kira?" pals were texted by viewers at home. There is peril for Yandy. On-set emotions were running high. Rita emerged backstage and hurried over upon hearing the disturbance. "What's going on, girls?" she asked, glancing between Yandy and Erica. Erica turned and pointed the accusation in a spotlight-like manner. "Yandy has been having an affair with Erica's ex-husband, Denzel," said Rita. Rita's expression contorted in shock. Kirk took hold of her hand. "I apologize so much, Rita. I had no idea." Her voice was heavy as she shook her head. "I told him that I had faith in her. I had faith in both of you," with tears running down her cheeks. Yandy hid her face. "I apologize, Rita. I had no intention of hurting you." Rita's voice faltered. "Sorry doesn't solve the problem." She whirled away, looking for a peaceful nook. Joker put his arm around Rita just in time to witness his wife's response. He muttered, "I'm here, baby." With tears in her eyes, she shook her head. "How do I deal with the children now? How can I trust anyone?" With icy eyes, Erica saw the fallout. Content that her truth had come to light, she approached Yandy, still fierce but softer now. I am aware of your pain, however my ex, Denzel, was the one who said he would help me. Erica looked around the cast, allowing her remarks to sink in. We are superior. Then the social media comments were blazing on the monitor behind them. How does Rita delete that from the show? Erica is the real MVP, and Yandy is a mess. Fans were mesmerized by every heartfelt admission and tense apologies. As the evening progressed, Denzel released a statement, "I'm heartbroken." The host said, "I never thought this would be shown. I wish for peace for both families." "I'm sorry, Yandy," Denzel texted, and the cameras saw Yandy's phone light up. "I must go out of town." She gazed at it, while her children's faces flickered across her memory. What did I do? She muttered. Kirk approached Denzel in a silent hallway. Who was waiting for him with his head down. Kirk's tone was one of icy rage. "You ruined a family to boost your own ego. You took advantage of my wife's frailty." Denzel looked him in the eye, his face etched with shame. "I apologize. I would undo it if it were possible." Kirk clenched his fist. "Sorry is insufficient." With her own tears unshed, Erica came to Yandy's side and offered a handkerchief. Time to confront reality. There is a cost to every secret with a broken voice. Yandy accepted the offer. "I get it." Cast insiders claimed that the evening concluded with Kirk following behind Yandy as he left the stage. Chico consoled his wife while Rita sat in, startled. Silence. "I never wanted to be the bearer of this news, but loyalty and truth matter." Erica wrote in a video she shared on social media as morning drew near. "I hope Rita gets healing and that Andy finds a way to turn his life around." Comments flooded in, with some applauding her courage and others condemning her for sharing personal information. The argument raged, was Erica a villain or a hero? Backstage, the team whispered to one another that they were shocked. One cameraman remarked, "I've never seen such raw emotion. This will be the talk of reality TV for months." Someone else retorted, with her head held high, Erica walked off the set. She prepared herself for the whirlwind that would follow, with headlines, interviews, and gossip websites analyzing every little detail, but for the time being the truth was out and nothing would be the same. That night, Yandy didn't sleep. The shock of Erica's accusation, Kirk's silent betrayal, Rita's tears, and her shaky voice were all replayed in her thoughts. Wendy went downstairs as the sun was coming up to discover her children already awake, their little faces full of anticipation for breakfast and school. She smiled artificially. Her voice was scratchy as she said, "Good morning, my loves." They hovered over her, naively inquiring about pancakes and cartoons. Her thoughts were racing as she cooked breakfast and swallowed the lump in her throat. How would she confront them when all they knew was that her mother was in trouble? Rita spent the morning packing a duffel bag across town. She stopped, tears streaming down her face as the moonlight came in through the send window. In an attempt of self-preservation, anguish, and wrath, she deleted every picture of Yandy from her phone. However, she became aware of how much history they had in common as she gazed at the blank screen. She ran her fingers over a faded picture of her and Yandy laughing and holding hands on a beach. That friendship seemed like a thing of the past just before dawn. Kirk reached Wendy's house and found her in the kitchen. His expression was filled with worry as he stood at the threshold. "Yandy," he murmured. Her eyes were red-rimmed as she turned. "Don't," he muttered. "I'm not able to do this today." She dabbed at her tears. Kirk's voice cracked as he said, "It was worse than I thought to hear Erica's voice. I noticed those messages. I ought to have inquired earlier." Yandy gave a headshake. "We both committed errors. However, I'm afraid of losing my kids." Kirk gently drew her into his embrace. "Together we will solve this, but we have to defend them now." Yandy nodded while sobbing and pressing her forehead. Against his chest, Raquel, Rashida's sister, showed up early at her house. She banged on the door until a puffy Rashida opened it. Raquel entered and took her in his arms. "I looked at everything on the internet." "Are you all right?" Rita's shoulders trembled. "No. I feel as though I'm in a bad dream." Arwell guided her over to the couch. "You are welcome to remain here until you're ready. I'll take care of everything at home." Rita nodded, appreciative but vacuous. "I'm grateful," she muttered. She gazed blankly at the while wondering how she could erase a life in one night in the meantime. Erica had been working through the night on a heartfelt video statement. She hit the record button on her phone in the morning. With a firm yet expressive voice, she began, "I know that releasing those messages will hurt many people, but loyalty and truth mattered more. I apologize for the suffering, but I stand by what I did." When secrets are revealed, some friendships break down. After sharing it on social media, she shut her eyes and waited for the storm to arrive. Erica's phone was inundated with notifications in less than half an hour, some fans' appreciation, and others. Censure erupted in the comments section, opinions poured in heroic betrayer drama queen Truffler. The clip was taken by tabloids who used it to run headlines like Yandy steps down from show after leaked affair and Arita, Erica's fearless reveal. Divides cast. Erica's agent Kaladan advised her to restrict her use of social media. Erica let out a breath, knowing that there was no turning back, but wishing she could hide from the mayhem the rest of the cast assembled for an emergency meeting. On the set, the host spoke to them in a strained tone. "We're postponing the shoot until today. We must reorganize. Yandy's segments are on hold." A producer noted after reviewing the notes, "After everything is settled, we will reshade you." Rita sat in a chair for cosmetics and gazed down at her phone. Jock put an arm around her shoulders and joined her in silence. "I dialed the children's school. They'll comprehend your tardiness today." Rita nodded, her eyes sparkling. "I'm grateful," she muttered. Kirk was sitting next to an empty chair that belonged to Yandy in a nearby caravan. He gazed at the door, thinking he may see her come in any second. However, she never showed up. He pondered whether his kids were aware of the strain that was circulating the family. He felt a great deal of shame since he had betrayed his promises of friendship, loyalty, and family unity. The weight was too much to handle. Rita was driven to the nearby elementary school by Jock. Shortly after breakfast, they parked quietly after them. Rackwell's vehicle arrived, transporting Erica's children for a play date. Rita's forehead was kissed by Jock, later hair plied. "I'll take our kids to football practice." Rita's voice was hollow as she slumped back. "I am unsure of my ability to function today." Jock grabbed her hand step by step. She continued to hold his hand as she nodded. Rita's kids ran to the fence and waved at the school drop-off. She hugged them and feigned a smile. "Enjoy your wonderful day." The kids ascended the stairs without realizing the agony that was taking place. Raquel gave Rita a comforting peck on the cheek while keeping an eye on her from behind. She said, "You're doing great." And Rita nodded while choking back new tears with his phone in hand. Yandy walked the living room at home, confident that Cole had left town as promised. She dialed his number. Voicemail was received. Cole said in a crackly voice, "Yandy, I can't do this anymore. I apologize, I'm leaving." With heartbreak rushing through her, she closed her eyes as though it had scorched her skin. She dropped the phone. She mumbled, "You ruined everything." Cole packed his last possessions into a duffel bag and headed across town. His flat, which had previously been a haven, felt deserted and haunted by whispered vows and secret kisses. In an effort to forget his errors, he retrieved his keys and secured the door. He considered how his presence had broken both Erica and Yandy. He said, "I'll never forgive myself," as he made his way to the lift that would transport him out of Atlanta and everything he had destroyed in the meantime. Erica showed up in a studio for a live interview about her next book. After welcoming her, the host promptly addressed the unspoken issue. "Erica, this week, your book, Loyalty Betrayal, will be available on bookshops. Did you expect this degree of backlash?" With a clear voice, Erica inhaled sincerely. "All I wanted to do was tell Matali, yes, I was aware of the controversy, but I think it's important to speak the truth, even if it causes pain." The audience leaned forward as the host nodded. "Are you sorry?" he inquired. Erica let out a breath. "I regret the breakup of the friendship between Rita and Yandy. I'm sorry a whole family had to endure that. However, I have no regrets in revealing the truth. Darkness must occasionally be illuminated. Social media erupt. Our children will require dinner. Allow me to handle it." She didn't answer. He knelt down and brushed a lock of hair away from her face. I cherish you. I apologize, Yandy. Winced at what was said. I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to trust you again. Kirk shut his eyelids. I'll work to regain that trust every single day. Producers discussed the timetable on the show's set. Should we use B-roll in place of Yandy's scenes? One producer inquired, another gave a headshake. No, her confession must be captured on tape. A follow-up interview will be filmed. How do you intend to regain respect? Was one of the prepared queries. How would you respond to Rita's supporters? Are you asking for pardon? The staff swarmed as they made last-minute preparations despite her trembling hands as she went. In front of the camera, Yandy consented to film her follow-up at the studio that evening. With empathetic eyes, the host greeted her. Yandy. The public is curious about how your marriage and family have been impacted by this affair. Yandy took a trembling breath and closed her eyes. I've committed the greatest error of my life. I'm currently apart from Kirk. I didn't give our kids the secure home they deserved. In order to concentrate on fixing what I damaged, I intend to leave the program. Permanently, sorry, but it doesn't even come close to covering Rita. One day I'll stop at nothing to regain your faith. The host gave a nod. Many fans are taken aback. The family was split as a result of the intense emotions. What do you think about that? Yandy's mouth quivered. I can see why people feel deceived. Every day I experience the same heartbreak. I only hope that one day they will see how dedicated I am to improving myself and coming back a better person. As she glanced off stage, possibly hoping to find Kirk or Rashida seated close by providing consolation, cameras caught her sobbing. However, nobody showed up. Rashida watched from a distance using her phone as Yandy was filming. She had her daughter sleeping next to her as she sat on her bedroom floor holding a pillow. She briefly felt sympathy after hearing Yandy apologized, but her rage immediately erupted. She had the opportunity to tell me directly, but she chose to run to Stenzel instead. The words were icy and meaningless. When she hit play on Cole's last voicemail, she vowed to defend her family at all costs as she closed her eyes and listened to her child breathe. Kirk observed Yandy's confession when he was off camera. Love, regret, and hope. Wait, I'll exert every effort to put this right. Kirk came home with groceries during the evening rush. Stopping at the front door, Rita was organizing mail at the dining table inside. She raised her head, fatigue obscuring her vision. Her voice was scratchy as she said, "There's therapy on the ice." Kirk let out a sigh. "I forwarded the schedule to you. Have you viewed my eviction note?" Rosa gasped for air. The grocery bags were put on the counter by Kirk. "I apologize for keeping it from you. I ought to have informed you earlier." She stood with her eyes full of tears. "Everything is kept under wraps. I'll then learn that there isn't a mortgage or something." Kirk sagged his shoulders. "I'll take care of it, Rita. I swear." With a low voice she approached him. "I wish to have faith in you." Kirk extended his hand to take hers. "Let's pay our expenses jointly first. No more money that is hidden." He led her upstairs to the safe where he had kept their joint bank statements. After she nodded, Jock read a bedtime story to his son that evening while perched on the edge of his bed. His eyes met his son's sleepy ones. "Is Mama okay, Daddy?" Jock took a deep breath. "Mommy is trying to regain her strength, friend. She adores you above all else." The boy let out a yawn. "Daddy, you are loved." Jock put the book away, gave his son a forehead kiss, and switched off the light after sending the kids off with Kirk for the evening. Yandy crept inside the house in the hallway. The door was opened by Jock. Her makeup was smudged and her eyes were inflamed. "Her children depend on you," Jojo told them. Sobbing, Yandy shut the door. "I understand, I'm afraid." Joker drew her into an embrace. "You must demonstrate it daily." With his voice buried in his shoulder, Yandy nodded. Erica got ready for a segment on a daytime talk show the next morning. "Loyalty and truth matter more than fame," she said, speaking straight into live television. As the cameras rolled, this family might have continued to live in deception if I hadn't revealed those communications. "Some say you weaponized personal details," the host retorted. "How do you react?" Erica's face remained composed. "Light and shadow coexist. Sometimes the path to recovery is paved with the exposure of darkness. I wish for the tranquility of Rita and Yandy. While some fans tweeted Erica is too harsh, others applauded she's a truth warrior, and the studio audience applauded. Meanwhile, away from reality TV, Yandy sat in a neighborhood cafe with a notebook open looking through possible career prospects. As she flipped through her phone, she saw messages from both fans and critics, as well as one from Kirk that read, "Therapy tonight." "Yes," she typed back after letting out a breath, "I love you." She continued, however, the burden of treachery continued to bear down on her chest. A letter from Cole to Rashida and Kirk was sent to the family home later that day by Cole's manager, who said, "I never intended for my friendship with Yandy to spiral into chaos. I'm sorry for my complicity this year. I'm giving a portion of my earnings to a charity in their honor." Kirk read the note to Rita out loud. She had 2 cups of coffee cooling while she sat at the kitchen table. She said, "This doesn't change what happened." The note was put on the table by Kirk, however. "It's a beginning, Rita. People make mistakes. Cole is no longer there. Yandy is no longer there. We are alone now." Rita's eyes began to well up with tears. "I'm worn out," Kirk reached.